All right, so everybody's done unboxings. You've seen that, so I'm gonna just kind of show you as it's already out the box. You know, beautiful looking wing. I did have a blemish right there. Out of the box came a little, let's say, roughed up. Other than that, I don't see anything worth mentioning. One thing I noticed I never seen anybody else talk about, I had to like smash down the decal because it was like stuck to each other when I worked the rudder surface. So I ended up just taking my fingernail and kind of like working it down on both sides so it wasn't just sticking straight up. And also like all of the grooves on the detail of the wing, just trying to get it to stick to it. And it's actually hanging over the edge a little bit right here. So I might just have to trim that. Yeah, see, it's peeling back and stuff. Trim that because it's not enough to fold over and stick well. I guess I might try it though. But on all the surfaces, just pushing it down into the caps that it has like a lay flat. So I don't know, like some companies you don't really have issues like this. This is a second FMS bird, and it's kind of like they're about their level of quality. Not that that's a bad thing. You know, it's a hobby. It's not, you know, whatever. It's a little something right there, a little imperfection in the paint, perhaps. Maybe another one right there. So not really perfect, I'd say. All right, let's figure out how to get this canopy off now. Okay. Does the whole thing come off? Okay, the whole thing comes off. Magnets in the back. You can never tell which way the magnets are gonna go nowadays. Right, you see, just kind of sitting in a groove there. I think that might be better when I do get everything set up to have it maybe in that channel, huh? And then the battery could sit up top. Yeah, it looks like plenty of room for a battery to sit up top. And yeah, there's nothing in that pocket, so the wires are actually down underneath. So you can use this pocket strictly for battery. I like that. The Mustang is kind of a challenge for a battery, especially for a 3S 1300, which is, I believe, the recommended battery. Let me look at the box. Flipping the box over here. Yep, LiPo. It says 2S 1300. So I'm not going to even apply it on a 2S because I've had enough experience with watching videos on other folks that say that it's lethargic, and I'm a very novice pilot anyway, so why would I even take a chance with less power? We always want more power, right? If I get in trouble, I can hit the throttle and hopefully SAFE takes me out of a sticky situation. Whereas if you're coming down really hard and you don't have any power, you're kind of limited on what you can do. Man, look at that angle on that. Like, it's actually, I mean, I know you need to have the motor angled in these things because when I first started, we were all like, man, something's wrong with it because it's actually pointing over like it should. It just seems to be a bit much. Nope, and the elevator just fell out because I'm working it all around. So then this kind of, you know, you can only put it one way to make it work. You can put it that way, but it won't work. So all right, this way. And I'm gonna have to ultimately glue that in there. But I seen somebody explain that the rudder doesn't sit straight. I could always unglue it if it ends up being an issue, but to me, with the body lines of the bird, it looks like it is going to be tilting down ever so slightly, so always giving you some down. But I guess you could compensate if it is an issue with the up elevator, but to fix it would be best, I imagine. So I'm going to just proceed into the first step in the direction. I love the fact that they have these little brass thingies with the adjustable screw. That way you don't have to, man, I just hate when people do other things. Enough said. All right. The book goes into showing what you got. It does feel kind of 60s when you're looking in here, but it might not really be that old. Just adapt it throughout different kits. Charging the flight battery. Let's take a look at a 1300 battery I'm gonna be using. Oh, hit another bird on the wall. Get all of this out of the way. Let's push this down. So there are no obstructions. Oh yeah, 1300 goes in there like a charm. I think that might be the maximum depth you can get. Is flush right there. There's a little bulkhead towards the back that you could probably bust out if you really need. Let's see what the CG looks like before I go busting things out. But the battery does go in there pretty good, so good first step. The Mustang is a very hard fit for a 1300 3S, but 800 3S looks good on that one. All right, installing the control horn. So take this back off just so it's easier to work with, and I'm gonna get the parts out and show you the next step. So the first step is to put the control surfaces on the elevator. I'll work this a little bit to give myself a little better time with the servo overworking itself. So they come with these two bags. This one has some small clevis with a Z-band on the other end. So I'm going to assume that this whole bag goes for the wing, because these already have the clevis at the back. So I'm going to hit this. And some of the aircraft I've seen where people made a big deal out of it, and you know, I would consider it not a small thing either, when the parts that you get are like white or black. Like in this situation, it's such a dark bird. If they were black, it wouldn't matter much, but they're not. They're like the perfect color of the bird, like pretty cool, or pretty thoughtful, or however you'd want to use it. So as you can see, I've never seen somebody show this angle at, and I think it's interesting that you'd want to see that. It's got two pegs that do not have holes in them, and then it's got two with holes in them. So this is the bottom portion of this surface. So I'm gonna just kind of let it penetrate through the pre-drilled, or however you'd want to call it, pre-opened opening. So I got the two horns on, so like it goes in this way, obviously, because the contour to the top of the bird. You can see that the control linkage is below, so then that means these two need to go down and they need to face forward just like they are. You get the top pieces and they just kind of fit over. There's two sides. One side has some detail to it, so I'm gonna let that detail, like just from like molding of the plastic type detail, not really good detail, but like just molding details. So I'm gonna flip that on the inside and just let it be flat at the top. Get both of those on, both flipped in the same direction, and then put some screws in. So like you get two really long screws. I'm assuming that's going to be some wing action. 3 of those, sorry, all seem to be the same size, and a whole bunch of little ones. So I'm going to assume there's no screws in this bag. I'm going to assume that these small screws are all the same size and that they all go for this. Let me get some of that done. I don't need to spend all day watching me screw each one in, right? Little detail, like I got this magnetic version of this screwdriver, and I believe in high quality tools mostly. So the biggest number 3 tip, it didn't fit those screws, but generally I found that if you get the little screwdrivers that look so cool because they're like some kind of little special small screwdriver, they never fit the screws well. Whereas this being way too big that you wouldn't think this would fit well, this is the size you actually need to make this go in easy. Otherwise you're screwing it, it's slipping off, you're rounding out the inside of the Phillips. So just a little added tip from somebody who does it a lot. So what I can see is you can see through a couple of the holes. There we go. And you can't see through the others. So like, to make it make sense, those pegs, obviously you can't see through the pegs, so you gotta screw it where this little reciprocal is, which it's not flat, it actually sits up to give you something to chew into with your screws. So that's what I'm into. So it might take me a way longer to build than other folks, I would say, because like certain things, I don't know, probably with a bird so cheap and small and blah blah blah, you shouldn't even worry about it. But the control surface has some screws that are made to be counterset, and like they could have gave you like button head screws or something with a flat head. Instead they gave you something that's supposed to be counterset. So like, I don't know how well that's gonna come across. Like this back one is more dramatic because I didn't screw it in all the way, but like this one is still sticking up. So I mean, you know, some people might like the little bit of drag that it adds is, you know, okay, trivial at best, but it's sticking up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take in just little detail that, you know, take a drill bit that's actually fairly large, not something that would I would want to go into this hole, of course. And then I'm going to just take by hand, lightly spin it in there. And the fact that it's so big, it's just adding a little bit of a edge. Can you see it? So that the head of that screw can kind of go into and finish a little. See, right, already it's sitting way flush than what it was without anything. So of course that will weaken this piece a little bit, and you know, people might come back and say things, I don't know. But just lightly turn it until I get a nice smooth finished edge there. So now that that counter set of that screw can sit in there and give me maybe not the perfect finished edge, because I won't go that far because it's kind of thin at the edge of it. I don't want to chance it being too weak for service. However, make it sit flush where I can feel comfortable. So I'll show you the after product. So I still don't have them completely flush, because if I did, it would be way too weak on the small edge of this piece, but it like way better than what they were, so they're not sticking up and hideous looking to me. So just a personal thing, not that it matters for anybody else. Maybe some people will, who knows. Just to kind of be a little thorough, there's a little burr. So just because I'm an oriented of detail kind of person and stuff like that bothers me, I just take the flat edge of an X-Acto knife just so that it slides into the foam smooth and easy. So all the screws are the same size, and as you can see, there's one sticking out for the rudder, where the rudder kind of tapers and gets skinnier. The back of that screw came out the back side, so I'm gonna just clip that off. I just don't want to have that. So I'm gonna just move on to the wing, install those control surfaces. I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch the entire painful me trying to get these small screws in, which these screws are not very small. I've heard people complain quite profusely about them. Quite simple deal, but it seems like it could have been done like everybody else does it. Other manufacturers do it with a, I'm looking at the FMS bird that's right above me right now. It's got a single screw in it, the F18, and I'm looking at an E-Flite F15. It's already installed with a single screw versus this kind of messier situation, but I think it's going to be fine. Let me go ahead and get it started. Oh, forgot to say, like, okay, so I got another bag like I covered before. These are probably identical to the other ones, so it's not a big deal, but this one came with the control surfaces for the servos, so just go ahead and get these put in there. So like you can look at the pictures, there's decent stuff. I'm just going to get these in the hole and work them in. Of course I'm going to drill out these holes to make it neat. Same. So this foam is, it's got the big pieces of foam, as you can see in the texture of it. If I can get, yeah, you see them, a little dimpling. So it's the more durable type foam. Man, look, another bad paint job situation. So like I thought when I'm painting a bird, that's the issue, but you can see where somebody made a mistake and came back and touched it up. It's a touch up right here. Crazy. Here's another one. Even worse touch up. You see that? Or maybe that's where they held it at or something. It's so terrible. It's got bumps and lumps. Crazy. Look at the detail on this, how terrible it is. Wow. Anyway, small details, not a big deal. I'm a super detail person, so whatever. Small detail for you. Get these kind of magnetic screwdriver. I can take all those little screws and they just kind of ride there for the entire duration of the build, so I don't have to worry about them being all lost because they're secure. Let me get this screwed in. Get them on, they fit tight and well. Go into my reamed out hole that can countersink quite easily. And watch when you're pressing down on this, because you will damage it just by like trying to push it in. Can you see that? Where I drilled out the holes? Yeah. Get that in there. And tighten up. And that's it. So now it's below the surface when it was sticking way above. So I look in the instructions. They do cover using a long and a short screw. But as I stated earlier, as you could see, my whole bag of screws, which is only a few, only came with one size screw. And can you see that how much of the screw is sticking out on the skinnier side of the control surface? It works perfect on the back side where it's thicker, but as it tapers out, now you got this thing that whenever you grab your bird, you'd have that situation. So just like I did over here, I'm gonna go back and clip it and make it a little neater. Just a little side tidbit, but I really wish they didn't have the two holes for the the pegs that go through are visible. It seems like they could have made that like just slightly, you know, indented on the back, but flat across the top where you don't see the two holes. It just looks like an unfinished product. So, of course, nothing sticking out. I trimmed them, so we got a nice smooth surface. So yeah, it's okay. All right, this is something that doesn't translate well to videos, and I'm gonna try my best to do a better job at translating it because people explain it, but they don't like show you. So I'm gonna set this on top of the horn with the horn going kind of, can you see it is going in the gap. I could even push this rubber, let me see, slide that down a little bit, so now it's slid down this, so that now the horn can go in there. You see where the horn is? So that tells me where the positioning of the horn is comfortable. So from that matter, I can see if I raise the horn back far enough, it's almost hitting the rod right there in that position. So if I turn the rod over and go that position, you can kind of see that it's past it. So if I were to put it in there, it's going to be at a slight angle. Now that angle would work, don't get me wrong, especially when you get it all doctored up. But if you held it straight as you could, you'll see that that side is slightly twisted. Let's see if I can twist it straight so it makes more sense to you. I just want this to be understandable because it was a big deal for me in understanding like why people don't break this down. So like you see how far off that is, and it's almost where it wants to be straight. So I could go here, but then you see the angle of the line. Whereas if I go here, look at that. It's exactly where it needs to be. So if you didn't have me showing you, you could easily figure it out yourself by putting it on here and see where it makes sense. And that's where it makes sense for me to go through here in the top position, get it nice and straight, and flip it in. So now when this goes on, it's in there straight as it could be, because this servo is at slight angle anyway. But that's as straight as it could be. If it was the other way, it would be straight out the other way, but you know, still workable, I would imagine. But just a detail. I'm a detail person, sorry. So I got them both on, and I'm not going to connect them. I'm just waiting until I power up the servo so I don't have to take them off, because these little pieces right in the middle there, if you click them in once or twice, that little ball right on the end, if you're not familiar with it, some kinds, certain brands are better than others, but see a little ball on the end, it'll come off on you. So I try to adjust them sparingly. So the next step is mounting the wing. It comes with a Y with the clippy thingies. I like these because they're like one less thing. If you get those little red things to clip normal connections, that's an extra piece, whereas this is built in. And trust me, if you've ever taken one of these off, these are way harder to take off than the red ones. So I feel more comfortable with it because it's so secure and solid, and should actually be less money for a manufacturer to include because it's all kind of one piece instead of two. Alright, got that on. So the next step is going to be putting it inside the wing. So you got the Y harness on. There's only one logical, only one place period, not even logical. You put it through the big opening gaping hole, and the wing has a key in the front. There's a hole for the key, and there's two screws, and the wing has two holes. So go ahead and feed that cable through the hole, find the key. If I can show you, I don't know how well that's gonna come through. So yep, find the key, push it in, and it goes right in. Good fit, good solid fit on the finish. So the only other screws that came with the kit, right here, the long boys. Take my trusty screwdriver, which I probably need the larger size for this. Yep, it's slipping. I hate that, so I'm going to get this changed over. I won't fight that screw in, which I could probably fight it in. Go with the super bigger screw, tip number 3, and get these in. And of course, I'm going to screw this lightly because you don't want to have it like stressing and dimpling by you putting too much stress on it. It's got like plastic inserts, I suppose you can see from the video, but I don't want to like distort the foam and have it like stressed out. I'd rather it be in a relaxed, yeah, starting to stress out. So like, if you can see right there, as soon as I started screwing it, so pay attention to that. See how it's starting to dimple? So I'm gonna back it out a little bit until it straightens out, because it doesn't need to be super duper tight. As long as the wing has no play. I've seen a lot looser wings than that, but I tighten it a little, half a turn, just for good measure. Because even if it is distorted a little bit, it's not gonna really bother me. Probably gonna land this on the belly, so it might get messed up anyway. So, anywho, that's the wing situation. Now you can kind of start seeing it coming out to what it's gonna be, and a sweet look at it too. Well, now we got that done. Now we got everything ready for the elevator. I'll turn this tail rudder to the side. I'm gonna shove this in here. Maybe twist this back a little bit to get it to slide in the slot, and now it's in. So there's a step in the directions that's saying, you know, make sure the stabilizer doesn't interfere with the rudder, you know. So like, you got to make sure that this is sitting flush. So with the bird sitting in a flying attitude, this body line kind of looks pretty straight and good. Reference point. But I do see where if I didn't hold this in the right position, it might sit up too high like this, interfere with the rudder. Not exactly sure that's what they're talking about. I did see some information that and another thing they wanted to make sure that you point out in the manual is to make sure that you don't have this to the left or to the right and where it interferes with the control surfaces. So make sure it's nice and straight. I'm gonna try to look at all of that at the same times. Alrighty, so the next step is to glue it. I would normally strip all of this out of here where the mounting surfaces is, but everybody says that with FMS you don't have to worry about it. It's a quality product, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna use this foam to foam. I used it on my F18 from FMS, and it worked great. When I did my F15, which is, to me, it's an E-flite, but it's identical to the FMS F18, like the landing gear, the body, everything, the mounting inside, everything is identical. So obviously FMS made it for E-flite. So everybody knows this stuff. Even the way the screws mount, I wish I could show you right now. Everything seems to be exactly the same. So when I did the F15, the direction says to use a destructive CA, which is odd. I was like, wow, they got, you know, foam safe CA, but it says use a non-foam safe CA to put the surfaces on. So I sometimes I do like a little dabbing motion to get it in there, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes, like this time, I just used a nice blob because it comes out weird. It comes out sporadically, where sometimes it'll be real smooth and dabby, and then other times it'll just bloop. So I'm gonna get some of this on here. Probably gonna put a blob here too. Yeah, this whole surface gets glued, so I'm gonna just put a little bit everywhere. And I don't like to go close to the edge because it just keeps so much from souping out on you, and which ends up being a mess. But I want to put a lot, so I don't want this coming off. So I'm gonna get a nice bead everywhere on that back surface, everywhere. And that surface already has plenty on it. It's already tacking up. So I'm gonna just set down my Q-tip. Don't put it in backwards like I was about to. Kind of guide this in. It's probably gonna streak some of it in to the wrong places, but all right. Now I'm gonna make sure I am flat on both sides of here in the front. My workbench is too small, so then I'm gonna hold this down and take and get any seepage that I can see, like right there, a couple of beads that smell. Oh, it is working. Cool, it's working on the knob. But let's just see if it's working now. Okay, SAFE is active on the aircraft. Alright. Yep. Yes. No. SAFE is off. That's crazy, it works. No AS3X though. Alright, so let's go back. For programming. Gyro settings. AS3X. AS3X gains. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Priority. Don't know about that stuff, but it looks good. Heading. Let me read about this. Yep, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm gonna get back. Sensitivity 1x. Okay. I don't think I want to change that. Okay, fixed gain adjustable gain. Adjustable. So yeah. That's what I was trying to do. And keep still for me while and I don't want that to be by the servo, so it's like going right in that area. So now it's pretty tidy. So now I'm going to try to get my surfaces figured out. So I'll flip this back. I'm gonna look at where it is. It's way too far. This surface needs to be about right there. So I am going to try to place this down. I'm going to get that set up where you can see. Maybe turn on this light to help with the situation. And just put this little rubber on there. Then I'm going to hold the control surfaces kind of flat with my hand. Alright, and kind of see where I need to go. So that means you can see it from where you are. It's way past the hole, so that means I need to tighten it, right? Alright, that was about 3 or 4 turns. Look like it might be a little too far. Go out one. Let's see what it looks like. I'm not going to clamp it. I'm just going to set it in. Yeah, it's with me holding it fairly tight to not move. It's past the hole, so I'm going to tighten it a little more. And it went in the center hole. So I'm going to set up rates. So I'm going to just adjust this to the inner hole, which would give you the most amount of throw. And then I can soften that up with rates. And then after the first flight, I can, you know, adjust it again if I feel like it's way too much. I've never had an airplane that felt like it was too much on aileron. You know, it always feels like it's not enough, if anything, on especially with certain aircraft. So I'm pretty sticking up a little bit on this side, but like almost completely flush on that side. So it doesn't center on one direction. I notice it does that with a lot of aircraft. Like, see, when I go up, there's a bump right there. But when I go the other direction, see, always that way, go there, center. So alright, I'm gonna get the other side set up. It's weird. it never really fully feels like it's finished where it needs to be, but whatever. Close enough. All right, hold it. Oof, way past. Gotta tighten it. And hold it. A little more. Yeah, I think with the surfaces kind of pinched, it's going in. Go ahead and go to that last hole. Now I'm gonna take a look at it and see what I got. It's too low. Need to adjust it a little bit. Yeah, no matter what, even though it does the same thing on the other side, it ends up in two separate positions, it's still gonna be a little bit low. So it needs to go down a little bit, so that means I need to loosen it one. These things are super delicate too, so especially with the whole locking it in thing. Had a lot of issue with a Habu with that locking thing because it's a bad position on a Habu as far as that goes. That's weird because it ends up on one side, both of them flat as can be. When I go the other way, one's down, the other side is up. So I don't know, I'm just kind of fly it and see what happens. It might need to be trimmed or something once I get that part figured out. So alright, that's my ailerons. Let me play with this a little bit. So I got it bound. I got, man, that's a lot of throw. It's gonna be crazy. I got it to the furthest hole. But like I said, I'd rather start there and have my rate set up. So I got my rudder and my wheel working. Let's see if I can show you that wheel. Extremely hard to show. There we go. So I need to adjust my wheel. It's off. So there's a little linkage right here. I can loosen it, get my wheel straight by pulling it and pushing it or whatever, which way it might need to go. Alright, get it where I'm feeling pretty good about the straightness of it. Check my rudder, make sure I didn't go too far off on it while adjusting it. Let me just tighten it slightly. I'm gonna go ahead and work it. Once again, the rudder does that same weird thing where it centers and then doesn't center, but I'm pretty satisfied with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that pretty good. Wobble it a little bit to get it out. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to the elevator. Last surface that needs to be adjusted. So same kind of deal. Push back the rubber, spin the clevises till I get it on. When we get that hooked up, of all the here, it's on blade. So if you want a blade item, lots of them have pictures, E-Flight, and they're all going to come with the pictures. Don't get me wrong, like that's the only picture that's loaded for right now. But all of these are going to come with 2 little pictures of the item, Hanger 9, FMS, all that, right? So if you're going to set up and you're going to use, let's say, a Spektrum radio, we'll cover Spektrum. I don't know anything else. I kind of know the TX16 stuff. Excuse my washing machine in the background. I know you can still hear me because I'm right on top of the radio, or right on top of the phone that I'm recording with. So anyway, if you want to do a model, I already did it. Then I thought about it, I was like, shoot, I got to show them how to do it, because this can be a pain when you don't know. So I'm gonna click on that, the model. Then I'm gonna hit proceed. Got to hold it down. There's a little finger. When you get to this menu, if you go doing other stuff in here, you're gonna not have these 3 dots. So don't go looking for anything else. Look for 3 dots. Hit that. Hit add new model. Once you hit add new model, it's going to go to default, template, bind and fly. Bind and fly is going to give you a list. If you just want a template, then you can hit template, a bind and fly or a safe model. And I found both of them work pretty good. You know, they give you some freebies when it comes to audio events. So that's the only reason why these are cool to me, because they're already somewhat partially set up. It even sets up like a mixing also for like flaps. If you put flaps on, if you set it into a bind and fly, and then you set up flaps, it's gonna give you elevator with the flaps, you know, mixed in already. So some of your stuff is already done. That's a good thing for doing it. So I selected bind and fly. Then you get a bind and fly. It's gonna think about it. That's it. You're done. It's created. Go down to the bottom here, bind and fly. So I don't really want that one, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit. I want to delete it, so I got to find out how to do that. But anyway, it's another process to delete it. So I won't worry about that now, because that's not what this is about. But I will. So let's say we went to the model, we created it. We're not going to have a picture here, so I'm going to hit the picture. I'm going to go in here, select picture, whatever picture you want. I don't want to, because I already did select the picture, so I'm going to stay with the picture I had. But if you don't have the picture you want, then you go to your computer, you go to the web, find the picture that you want, copy that web picture. I could show you the process. Let me show you the process. Let me pause it until I get set up. So here's a whole bunch of F4U pictures, right? I can find a really nice one I like. Right click on it. Save image as. Once I do that, it's going to go to your desktop or whatever. Go to save it what you want. You can name it something. It says download there. I'm not going to change it. Normally I would, so that's easier for me to file manage. All right, it's saved on my desktop, right? So there's that image, right? Boom, I got that image. So now I'm going to double click that image. I'm going to go to the 3 dots right here inside the Windows viewer for pictures or whatever it is. Resize image. It's 275. I find that 266 works better. 177. I don't normally change the height. I just change the width. 266 usually works, makes it fit. Now you can play with it. It doesn't have to be 266. Whatever you want. Just whatever you fits to your little window when you get in there that I was just showing you. That's fine. So you hit save. Alright, I'm going to put that in my desktop. I don't know why it makes me select that every time. Alright, so now I have it, right? So now I got 2 of these. I'm going to just go ahead and delete all of this stuff that I was doing. There we go. So now I got that image. Let's say I want to deal with it a little bit. I can hit edit that image. I can shrink it, crop it, whatever I want to do. I don't want to. That image would work fine, but I'm not going to use it anyway. So that image is there. I would take my SD card, stick it in. Once the SD card pops up, I don't guess I need to show you guys that. You're just going to drop this image in your desktop. No, let me show you, because it is complicated. And that can be confusing to some folks, because you've never seen it. And I hate when people don't give you the details. Sorry, I'm going to stick an SD card in. It's going to come up with something. All right, continue without scan. I don't want to do anything extra work. Now this is my whole SD card. Once you stick the SD card into your NX radio or DX radio or IX radio, it's going to come up with all the stuff for that radio, right? So, okay, that's all that's in there, right? It's in a little mini operating system for Android. So then I got some pictures in here. That's stuff that I dropped in the past. I'm going to take this. I'm going to drop it in there. Just not in a folder, just in the open area at the bottom beyond all the folders. There's a bunch of pictures that you can see the little icon in front of it is a picture icon. And I'm just dropping it there. That's it. I'm done. I can go from there. I can go to this little exit, eject thingy. That's it. Safe to remove hardware. All right, so I'm safe. Take the SD card out. Just for the purposes that I'm not coming back here, I'm gonna delete that. Go back to the radio. Raise this up a little bit. Maybe zoom out a little bit. I am going to. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to utilities. I'm gonna go to that bind and fly we created. So just to show you the exact method, I'm gonna stick this card in the correct method, just like you see me doing it. Use my fingernail to get it locked in. It's locked in. So now I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna click on this. It's gonna show me all the neat ones that they have that are stock. All right, if nothing there is appealing to me before, that's why I'm downloading one, right? So I'm gonna hit that. So now here are the ones that I downloaded. Boom, they're all there. This one. So now I can cover what I was talking about. So turn my audio up. That doesn't do anything. So this will go
gear up, gear down.
So you get like freebies.
Landing flaps, normal mode. Throttle cut off, throttle cut on.
All right, so that's the beauty of doing it that way, right? So if I go to model adjust, dual rates, it's at 10%. See, it even gives you some free expo. Switch F. It's going to be this one. That's what I normally use. So it's on the right switch. So then it's going to be ailerons.
Aileron low, aileron mid, aileron high rate.
I actually put all of my rates on that one switch. So, you know, I'll probably go back and do that. But anyway, so to do that, you're going to just go basically to right here. All right. Everything is on F already, right? See, 70, then 0 at 50%. So it's a decent thing going on with it the way it is. All right, so then if I want to change something, I would go here, elevator. It's on switch C. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit F again. So now elevator is also all of them are on there, right? So then I'm gonna hit rudder. Rudder. Switch G. Change it. Now everything is on this one switch. So I'm gonna hit cancel because I don't want to change anything. Alright, so that's covering everything is on this one rudder channel. I'm sorry, this one switch F. So none of these other switches are gonna do rates. It'll be all rates from right here. Now I want to change that because I don't want it to say aileron rates. I want it to say just rates, right? So then I'll go back again, model setup, audio vents, switch. So then I'm gonna look for my switch, which is F. This one, I'm gonna hit that. And I'm gonna click right here, and I'm gonna just, oh, I didn't want to hit that. Get it where it's right in front of the H. Right, hit back. Then I'm gonna save it. Mid. Right the M, back, check mark, save it. Low. Erase it, save it. Back. So
mid rates, low rates, high rates.
See? So now everything's set. My throttle cut is wrong too, so I'm gonna switch that while I'm in here. Throttle cut. Right now I got it to say
throttle cut off.
That's off in the way they have it set up. I don't like that because I like all my switches to be forward. That makes more sense to me. When I open up my radio, bloop, 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 everything is at the 0 position forward, which means that's gonna be throttle cut. Right? Off. So then if you hit it up, like you could be carrying your radio. If this is throttle cut and then you just hit it,
throttle cut on.
Now you just hit your throttle cut on. What if
off.
this was up and you hit that up? You know, there's fail safes on certain devices, but this makes more sense to me to do it in the direction I'm doing it. So do it the way you want to do it, but that's the way I do it. I want this to be down. I want everything forward. That's the safe position. Landing gear down. This means that the landing gear is on the ground. Safe position for the takeoff. So in that case, I'm going to have to change this because it says throttle cut off, and I just want to call it throttle cut. Save. Then I'm gonna go to position 1, which is up.
Throttle cut on.
Then I'm gonna put throttle cut off. So now that I have my model created, I'm satisfied with that. I'm gonna just throw a battery in here right fast just to get the bind done. So just throw this in. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I gotta change this plug. So I'm gonna just throw an adapter on just to get it done for the time being. And then I'm gonna change my plug out to a IC. Oh, wrong plug. Hold on. Alright, so I changed the plug because I didn't feel like dealing with it. So I could have put that on the video, but there was the dryer was running, my daughter was here, so a bunch of loud noise and activity, so I just decided to get this done. I'll do a video on how to do that quick solder job if anybody wants to see it, probably separately because it's more of a separate thing. So anyway, in the receiver book it says to bind it, so and make sure everything works before you do anything else. So I'm gonna figure out how to hold, which is a weird situation. Alright, I'm pressing it, press it, then let go. So now it's in bind mode. On the radio over here, super convenient to have this bind button right on the top all the time, so you don't have to go through extra menus. Alright, I'll hit that.
Bind complete. DSMX 22 milliseconds.
Tells you what it is. It's got telemetry. And it armed. So that's pretty cool. 3 little beeps. That means 3 cells it recognized. It's doing like a little analyzing packets thingy. And then a spec at the front screen. So alright, so now everything is zeroed out on the radio. So now I'm gonna just kind of do some little tucking right here just to get things not to fall around, and keep still for me while I'm, and I don't want that to be by the servos, so it's like going right in that area. So now it's pretty tidy. So now I'm going to try to get my services figured out. So I'll flip this back. I'm gonna look at where it is. It's way too far. This surface needs to be about right there. So I am going to try to place this down. I'm gonna get that set up where you can see. Maybe turn on this light to help with the situation. And just put this little rubber on there. Then I'm gonna hold the control surfaces kind of flat with my hand. Alright, and kind of see where I need to go. So that means you can see it from where you are. It's way past the hole, so that means I need to tighten it, right? Alright, that was about 3 or 4 turns. Look like it might be a little too far. Go out one. Let's see what it looks like. I'm not gonna clamp it, I'm just gonna set it in. Yeah, it's with me holding it fairly tight to not move, it's past the hole, so I'm gonna tighten it a little more. And it went in the center hole. So I'm gonna set up rates. So I'm gonna just adjust this to the inner hole, which would give you the most amount of throw. And then I can soften that up with rates. And then after the first flight, I can, you know, adjust it again if I feel like it's way too much. I've never had an airplane that felt like it was too much on aileron. You know, it always feels like it's not enough, if anything, on especially with certain aircraft. So I'm pretty sticking up a little bit on this side, but like almost completely flush on that side. So it doesn't center on one direction. I notice it does that with a lot of aircraft. Like, see, when I go up, there's a bump right there. But when I go the other direction, see, always that way, go there, center. So bad position on a Habu as far as that goes. That's weird because it ends up on one side, both of them are flat as can be. When I go the other way, one's down, the other side is up. So I don't know, I'm just kind of fly it and see what happens. It might need to be trimmed or something. So I got it bound. Man, that's a lot of throw. It's gonna be crazy. I got it to the furthest hole. But like I said, I'd rather start there and have my rate set up. So I got my rudder and my wheel working. Let's see if I can show you that wheel. Extremely hard to show. There we go. So I need to adjust my wheel. It's off. So there's a little linkage right here. I can loosen it, get my wheel straight, by pulling it and pushing it or whatever, which way it might need to go. Alright, get it where I'm feeling pretty good about the straightness of it. Check my rudder, make sure I didn't go too far off on it while adjusting it. Let me just tighten it slightly. I go ahead and work it. Once again, the rudder does that same weird thing where it centers and then doesn't center. But I'm pretty satisfied with that, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten that pretty good. Wobble it a little bit to get it out. Alright. So now I'm going to move on to the elevator. Last surface that needs to be adjusted. So, same kind of deal. Push back the rubber. Spin the clevises till I get it on. Let me get that hooked up. Alright, from here, I'm going to try to get into, let's see, model adjust. Oh, and there it is. So it wouldn't normally be in this menu. This would be one shorter. It's connected to that receiver, so now it's there. Alright, so I'm looking at the book, of course. Right there, forward programming, gyro setting, first time setup. That's what we want, so gyro settings. Of course, that's the only thing that comes up, first time setup. Make sure your model is configured. Wing type, reversing, travel. Trimmed. Okay, I've got all that pretty much done as far as I can think. Any alignment sub trim or channels required. Okay, so if I change something that's not just a trim thing that I want to do, like a sub trim or something that's going to stay permanent, I'd have to do all this again. Fine, no problem. Set model on level. I have that. Continue. Hold the model 90 degrees down. Press continue. So I'm gonna make sure I got this pretty level facing down. Continue. Alright, so shows the front of the aircraft, and it's showing me the orientation with the Spektrum button facing forward. And as you remember, that's what I have. That's the receiver, the button's facing forward, so it's correct. So it's in position 1. I'm gonna hit continue. Let's see what this does, because I could have just hit apply and I'd be ready to go, I think. So let's hit gain channel, select gain channel, switch. Let's see if I can find a manual. Hang on a second. So it says it's rebooting. I went into there and I selected the knob as the gain thing. I've never done that part before, so I just reading, and then now it's in this rebooting thing. Select model adjust. Oh, let's return the menu. Okay. Alright, gyro settings. Okay, so now this popped up. Let's go to first time safe setup. Flight mode channel. It's on inhibit. I'm gonna put it to the one I like. AUX2. Okay, that's what it says. Switch B. That's all correct now. All right. Flight mode. That's the same thing. So I'm gonna hit continue. Select the desired switch position. Adjust for each flight mode. I don't know what that means. Okay. Next. And active in safe mode to reduce wobble. Okay. Next. Alright, so it looks like my pitch and roll is 0. I got the plane setting up as level as I think. So that's good. Next. So right now safe mode is inhibited. I wanna, so I'm just gonna hit this self level and angle demand thing. Next. Okay, apply. The aircraft is doing the double dance, and it says rebooting. we got the 800mm Corsair. The nose is a little roughed up because a FMS thing where I had to take the front off, just, you know, one of them kind of deals. But other than that, it looks pretty good. We got everything ready to go, so we're gonna go ahead and launch. We're probably gonna just not catch the launch itself because we gotta actually hand toss it. So yeah, we're gonna go from there. All right, here goes nothing, folks.
Oh, that look nice. How you feel? Oh, really?
Ooh, it feels weird. I increased the levels of safe to turn harder, and it turned home. I might have to reduce the rates a little bit to prepare for that, for this flight. Ooh, this spot, see, I'm so small for this bird.
Low rate.
There you go.
Still feel like it's pulling a hard turn. You see it?
Yeah.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Ooh, yeah, I got the jitters for this bird.
How you feel though? Look like it's flying nice.
It is.
I don't see no.
It doesn't. It feels weird though. I gotta admit.
It feel weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's diving. That's why. Whoa. Ooh, yeah, I got it maxed out. Ooh, yeah. I'm out of control now. Ooh. And that's that.